What's up, YouTube gamers? It's your computer engineering gamer back with some fresh new content, and we are all aware that money makes the world go round, and that is no different in the Star Wars universe. I mean, look at Jabba the Hutt. No power, all the money, therefore has power. Therefore, the more money you have, the more powerful of a Jedi or a Sith you are, right? We'll excuse the Force and just run with it in this case, alright? Since money is the most important thing that runs the galaxy, we're going to take a look at how to get the absolute maximum amount of money in Knights of the Old Republic by the time we leave Taris. To begin, I'll cover the basics of what I will and won't cover. I'm not going to cover every single item to grab or location to loot. I am also not going to tell you the obvious that you should kill all the enemies you can and loot their bodies. What I will tell you is the interactions that occur and the choices you should make that lead to the most amount of credits as possible, and maybe even a game exploit to gain a little extra cash. I'm also not going to even touch Pazaak, as this obviously defeats the purpose of what is going on here. With Kotor 1's Pazaak mechanics, you're most likely to lose money anyways, as well as spend the 50 for the deck. So we gotta create a character to output the shmoney. I choose a scoundrel because, come on now, it makes sense. But in reality, it is the best option that allows us to dump as many skill points into persuasion, security, and demolitions. For allocating stat points, we maximize our charisma and intelligence to get as many skill points and persuasion modifiers. Intelligence will maximize the points gained on level up, allowing us to max our main skills and unmastered skills like computer use. Demolitions will allow us to pick up the many mines in the Undercity, sewers, and Vulker Base, which we will then turn around and sell for cash. Persuasion and charisma will allow us to pass persuasion checks for extra credits in places like the Duel Ring, bounties, and for more rewards from characters. So with that out of the way, let's go panning for gold. Starting off on the Endar Spire, there's nothing much here except some optional loot to pick up and enemies to loot. I will say that you could gain more credits here by having a higher repair computer skill paired with intelligence to save some spikes that are each worth 100 credits or parts worth 80 each, but we will overlook this slightly. If you have an issue with it, add an additional 100 or 200 to the final result if you would save a spike or two with some different stats, but I think we're pretty optimized for the rest of the run. Waking up in Taris, we are on an unfamiliar planet, in an unknown apartment with an unknown ally, but worst of all, we have no money. It is time to change that. Exit the apartment and kill the Sith and loot the rest of the apartment building. Located in our apartment building is Dia, who has a bounty on her head. We eliminate Dia after the bounty is unlocked, and we will collect on it with more info later. Otherwise, nothing here. When we enter the cantina to get invited to the Sith party and begin one of our biggest money grabs, we will have to make sure to go into the cantina and be the worst server ever to this Tarisian noble. This will trigger an event where she will have 2 guards attack you in front of Kebla Yurt's shop, rewarding you with 2 extra vibro blades and a frag grenade to sell. One of the 2 biggest money grabs on Taris exists in the cantina. As most of you are aware, the Duel Ring. Fighting for cash. What more could you ask for in a role-playing game? Nothing much to it decision-wise, just fight and get cash. Easy as that. Easy money. We begin by talking to Azure and become the mysterious stranger. Before completing the Duel Ring, we head out to see a new figure in the cantina, Bendak Starkiller. As we tell Bendak will be back to fight after I beat the other duelist, Carth proceeds to tell me,
"You sure you want to get involved in this? Seems a bit pointless to me. Up to you."
Well, excuse me, sir. I think this is well outside of the realm of pointless, so stay in your lane. To total it off, you get 1500 credits from everyone up to Twitch. Bendak will net you 900 credits from the duel after a persuasion to get additional credits. His bounty can also be turned into Zax, and we will account for that later. But for now, we get the credits as well as his blaster for beating him. However, it doesn't stop there. It's exploit time. Kotor has a funny exploit. And I say exploit as a person with programming experience, it's not a bug, it is a feature. Where if you beat Twitch and ignore Azure and instead go talk to Bendak, you can challenge him to the deathmatch, and then talk to Azure to set up the deathmatch. Upon completion, you will get the credits and a blaster award for beating Bendak. If you talk to Azure again, he will then give you the reward for beating Twitch, because you did not get it previously. But it will also grant you a second blaster since this reward is given after beating Bendak. This is a great chance for us because Bendak's blaster sells for 500 credits, so this is 500 credits for free. The game must have some boolean variable in memory that is checked, and if set to true, any reward from Azure would come with the blaster. BioWare must have intended you to collect on your reward like every other time prior to Twitch, where following the fight you must talk to Azure and receive the reward. Someone must have been so giddy to fight or so greedy to collect the bounty on Bendak that they did it out of the intended order and found this exploit. Unfortunate that we can only challenge him after Twitch, or we could have had more. Anyways, we get to blackmailing Zelka, the Doctor, once you find the Republic soldiers in Bacta tanks. Once again, we kindly tell Carth to F off, as he is not my boss, and take the creds. Following this conversation as we leave, Zelka's assistant usually tells us we could sell the serum to Zax for cash, but if you do not have the conversation with Zelka about the Rackle serum prior to trying to blackmail him, this conversation is not triggered. It is not triggered later on. Even with the serum in tow, you cannot sell it to Zax. Selling the serum to Zax results in a gain of 1,000 credits. With that in mind, I was past my save point, and in the final calculation amount, I will include it in the total credit amount. By the way, they also missed out on an interesting opportunity. If you wear a Sith uniform and go open the door to the Republic soldiers, Zelka doesn't even bat an eye. It would have been interesting to see BioWare show a reaction or an option to threaten him to turn him in for a bribe or in uniform again. But oh well, we can't judge them if they had timelines, or an absolute greed as I have now. There's some bounty hunters threatening an old man outside the medical facility to the other side of Upper Taris. Kill them, yell at an old man for money, tell Carth to F off, and dark side points with no money from the old man, but 100 credits from the bounty soldiers. On the other side, we go up to the other set of apartment buildings and loot around. We can find Largo here, and we kill him to fulfill the bounty and loot his body as well. For the droid shop owned by Janice Null, the optional dialogue outside of getting T3 allows you to purchase a different utility droid. You can purchase that droid for 50 credits and walk out. Once it hits the door, it will explode. You can then ask for a refund for the 50, but tack on a persuasion check, and we're back to getting 75 for a free 25 credits. When we return to get T3, the upfront cost is 2,000 credits. You can persuade her down to 1,500 credits using a threat from Davik, with a higher persuasion check will reduce the cost to 0. A huge win for the squad here. The most obvious moneymaker down in the lower city cantina is the bounties from Zax. There's not much else to do here besides look at the bodies Callow made and call this dude a freak. Grab the bounties and turn in any you might have done them already. Once you grab the bounties, they show up in your journal for you to track. 3 are in the upper city that we have covered, and 2 are in the lower. There is a persuasion option on the bounties to get 400 credits instead of 300. Due to stat dumping into persuasion, I passed this check, and this can be done for every bounty, netting an additional 500 credits in total. Once you collect on all bounties, you will end up with 2,000 credits from Zax. The Rackle serum is sold to Zax for a base price of 1,000, but with a persuasion check I would pass. An additional 500 credits are rewarded for a total of 1,500 that I will add at the end. This is not a questionable choice, as Zelka would give us little to nothing if brought to him, and then this would bring the total received in Javiar's Cantina to 3,500 credits. First thing in the Undercity is run off these 2 degenerates to save yourself 5 credits. I mean, I know we're penny pinching here, but come on. Another quick decision is, instead of bypassing the Sith Patrol, challenge them, and you will gain a decent amount of items we will later sell. Right past them is a group of Rackles who pick up the Rackle serum. Note, Rackles are something of what I refer to as assholes, and they hit me often, and the fiends poison you often. Therefore, we heal a lot with the Undercity healer to save on med packs, therefore saving credits. Down here, there's a tale of the Promised Land from the old man Rukel Wrinkleskin. You must grab 4 journals and deliver them back to him so that the people of the Undercity may reach paradise. However, the glum shopkeeper Aegir is just as thrifty as us, for he would sell out his whole village and purchase the journals from us and destroy them to remain relied upon for his shop and keep hoarding credits. We obviously sell them because we're just as greedy as this bastard, and we gain 200 credits after persuasion, doubling from the original 100. Last option here, even though we have the serum, we opt to kill the 2 villagers near the village healer. Saving them has telling you about some wreckage and walking away. Killing them lets you loot 14 credits and a repair kit. Easy to sell later, every credit counts here. The sewers themselves don't have any optional ways to save credits. Stealth can be used to pass the Rancor, but then you have to run everyone there somehow, or use grenades to kill it, or have a physical damaging blaster. But my lazy ass puts a frag grenade in the bones, so 20 credits wasted. Cry. For the Vulker Base, we need to ensure we get the pool chest. Just run through the poison and transit to the apartment to heal outside of the base. To avoid using any spikes, we use our security skill to get into the armory and get the items inside. Then we equip ourselves to fight the Vulker crew, and get the pass card and insert it into the security terminal and walk past the turrets and down to the garage. In the garage we kill all the Vulkers and loot, but down here we must use some repair parts to gain much more. We use Zalbar with a maximum repair skill to save parts and ram the droid into the garage and fight the prototype droid. The footlockers in here hold some gear, but most importantly a 2,000 stack of credits. Upon entering the room after clearing out the rest of the base, Camden realizes you are not a member of the Hidden Becks. He then offers you a different option. If you decide to side with the Vulkers, you are given an incentive of 500 credits to kill Gadden, and they will sponsor you in the race to win Bastila. Now either way, we'll end up with Bastila, but the 500 credits could be an incentive that gives us a greater amount of credits in the end than the Beks would. With that, we head over and assassinate Gadon and Kreia in his office, with Zadra and the Beks attacking us on the way in as we open the door to his quarters. This is the equipment we also net from totaling to some additional credits, as well as some footlockers with grenades and medpacks to sell. The footlocker in the office has 300 credits inside, as well with some advanced medpacks. I originally planned to run through the Beks side to see if there was a close running for a side choosing. But with the 500 bounty, the 300 in his office, and the high level gear gained from the 3, it's not even worth the time, so check it out on your own light side run. For a synopsis of the Beks side, you will just kill Cannon and steal the prototype and go to the swoop race with very little to loot and no credits offered from Gadon. You may also take the deal and steal the accelerator anyways. Go kill Gadon after you win the race for the Beks. However, you can't get the 500 credit reward, so I don't believe this would result in more credits from the loot that Cannon and his side piece holds. We get Bastila back, we get T3 and enter the Sith Base. There are pretty much no optional ways to gain credits here, as the receptionist has no items and saving the Duros grants no credits. Just kill the governor, grab the 500 credit footlocker in the room, and get out while looting all rooms, bodies, and mines while not using spikes on computers. The other money play in here is to loot the armory on the opposite side of the base as the elevator to the governor. For the final area at Davik's estate, we ensure to fight all the guests, and each will call a guard. Specifically, the Tarisian noble next to the torture chamber offers you a chance to get the strong boxes in the back of his room. The left one holds a good amount of gear, and the right one holds 500 more credits. Killing Hudro for greater rewards than the codes gives nothing more than dark side points, which makes sense as he has been in a cell, so he wouldn't really have gear or money. Beyond that, we get the access card from one of Davik's lackeys for the computer terminal to save on computer spikes for opening the hangar. On the way out of here, we pick up Davik's gear while boarding the Ebon Hawk, and we have reached the end of our run. We end up on Dantooine with Taris, finished, and a total of 10,373 credits as our final count. Eugene Krabs penny pinched his way to the 5-digit credit count. With the adjustment for the additional credits for the Rackle serum, we'll add 1,500 credits. If that quest is not passed up by my gameplay mistake, the actual total will be 11,873 credits in total, received from Taris from all the quests, persuasions, body loot, and box loot, optimized for the maximum credits for every decision. For a special look at every penny you can squeeze from the planet, we are going to sell all our gear and calculate in some of the used items that were unnecessary to use beyond my bad gameplay. To sell all of my gear, I unequip everything for myself, Mission, Zalbar, T3, and Carth. For the upgrade gear, I remove all the components to sell separately, just in case they aren't added when selling the gear equipped with upgrades. After selling off all the items in my inventory, you can see I have nothing left and I have a total of 28,795 credits. This shows exactly why looting every single enemy and finding the most powerful enemies can reap great rewards. Some last minute minor adjustments for gameplay and items, since we have no access to Bastila as she is with the council, but all she had was her lightsaber and a base cardio regulator. This will add roughly 300 credits. I lost the pickup on 5 minor mines, which all equal 25 credits, so add another 125 credits. Finally, I used 6 concussion mines on Bendak to beat him since I had a weak single fighter build. However, with these saved, it would add another 120 credits. Now, with every adjustment including the Rackle serum, the absolute final amount of credits achieved is 30,840. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you even find a single credit more than what I found, to make sure to comment and call me dumb. I try to be as thorough as possible, even using exploits to the game code. With that, remember, a man is lost without the sauce, but that same man can get lost in the sauce. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace out, gamers.